All right, so
I have to give you a little bit of credit for this.
Yeah, we can overdub it later. Just
I
haven't had any crazy stories about. Oh wait, no, I do. I got robbed at gunpoint, mugged.
Checking for me, but I ain't checking for them. No.
sleazy real estate guys, but all right, so another episode of the EP podcast here. A little bit of a different episode. I got a few of my close buddies here, some familiar faces that people have seen already. Episodes 2. To my left, I have KAMAL DEWBERRY. KAMAL, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Tyler, done. Your episode just came out, man. People are loving it. You were going into relationships and everything. That's awesome. And then we have a new face here, my buddy here, Jonathan Hernandez, with a beautiful mustache. Jonathan, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing? How you doing, brother? I haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah. There you go. So this is actually it's not the first podcast recorded of the year, but it's been the first podcast that we record in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, we took a short break because we were recording for 11 weeks in a row, and kind of gave everybody a little bit of a vacation. And now we're back. So it's the first episode, and it's going to be a little bit different. Given that Valentine's Day is right around the corner, we figured we go into topics surrounded by modern day dating / relationships. I posted on my social media any hot takes or any opinions or topics that people might want us to go into as we're going through this episode, and we're going to dive into some of them. So full disclosure, I imagine there's going to be some controversial things being talked about here. So that being said, we welcome different opinions and discourse and a proper conversation between all the different points of views. So that's trigger warning. It's not, I'm sure some people are going to be triggered, but please just keep in mind. Yeah. So keep in mind, we're all just having fun here. It's all chill. So nothing really to worry about. And if you haven't already, please like the videos, comment, share with your friends, subscribe, because we're just going to keep it coming all year. Pause. So, all right. So, how do we want to start about this? Because this is a little different. Should we just go straight into the topics? Should we just, loosen up a little bit, talk about something light at first? How do you guys want to go about this?
Go about our experience and then the topics.
Huh? Our experience? Okay, so experience with what? Like specifically?
This is how we view it. Mm-hmm. And then just like our experience, and then you go into like the more deeper topics.
Okay. So do you want to start then? You want to start us off?
Yeah, I'll start.
Okay,
yeah.
So just let us know exactly what it is that you're gonna go into, stuff like that.
Yeah. So modern dating. It's funny because I kind of discovered like the whole concept of this around like maybe 5 years ago, around like 2018ish, and like there was no really like space for this. It was kind of just like red pill philosophy, and I was just like, I don't know what that is. I heard that from like Matrix.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that? And then I found this guy. His name is what's his name? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about, Tyler? Not Kevin. Like,
the one that passed away.
Not Kevin Samuels.
Okay.
He got a bald head. He light skinned. He's big dude. I'm mad because he's the one how I got into the whole like improvement space and like development, and he was
Coach Greg?
not Coach Greg.
So what happened with him? What did you take away from him?
So basically, when I found him and he was saying all this stuff, it was like, girls want this and you gotta do this, and I was like, why he lying? I feel like he just hurt. And I was just like,
what was he saying?
Specifically, he was just like girls are hoes and they only date you if, like, I don't know, like we'll get into it. It's like very like
shit people say.
Yeah, about like what women want and what men have to do to get the woman.
Right.
Because I was like I'm having trouble dating.
True.
I wanna get the girl of my dreams. So how do I do that?
Yeah.
All it was kind of at the time was pickup artists, but they don't really tell you like the game. They just kind of do it, everybody had their own game.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then when I learned the guy or whatever, he was like getting like the nitty gritty, like the specifics of it, and it was like basically down to like the biology, and that's how kind of like it triggered me. So I was like, okay, so everything I learned was a lie. You know, all this stuff they show in like movies from like the early 2000s and 90s, like it's all kind of just like kind of bullshit at the end of the day. And you know, now it's becoming a bigger space. It's a market for men's improvement and like guy space, to like learn how to like date and like get girls development and stuff like that. But as far as my experience, like I say it's been going good like ever since then. Before that, it was terrible. I'm not even going. Yeah, it was cap. It was terrible.
Definitely a little curious to see where that's gonna go into.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Actually, yeah. Let's just go around, give like
Yeah.
a brief like you said, like of our experiences kind of thing, and what we think it's heading, and then just kind of dive into those topics. So yeah, like as you shared, the red pill thing, like aside from the Matrix, I did start hearing it when I started going out, right? Like a few years ago, I started hearing about it. Like this guy was like, oh no, you should treat women like shit because then they'll like you more. And I'm like, my immediate thought was, I'm the type of guy that goes deep. I'm like, I'm immediately thinking like, what's your relationship with your mother like, right? Right. And then he would talk all this game about, you know, you should be treating women this certain way, but then I would never see him with one. So I'm like, how valid really is your concept, you know? But then there again, there's some valid points, but I also think there's a healthy line between, you know, having those, like solidifying those points and also going overboard to the point where it's only damaging you. Right. So I definitely think there's a different dynamic with relationships today. I'm learning a lot of it recently in the past year, based on personal experiences. And I figured like with Valentine's Day coming around the corner, it's relevant to talk about. So yeah, Tyler, what do you think?
How I think about the whole red pill thing is, when I first initially heard about it, I didn't know too much about it. I kind of got I guess thrusted into it in a way.
Thrusted in. That's interesting word choice. Thrusted. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest. Like you said, everybody has their own way of speaking to the opposite sex and making yourself appealing to them. I think what a lot of times where we fail at it is, we go to the pickup artist and we see what works, but we don't know what to say after, because you know why? It's not a genuine. Yeah, it's not a genuine thing that's coming from you. So I think that's where a lot of guys are failing. That's why I think that pickup thing it just doesn't work. It just doesn't.
It's
work.
almost like you have to disguise yourself, and
Exactly.
it becomes challenging to be genuine, like your true genuine self.
Yes.
And it's a little conflicting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, imagine you having to dress up every day. Like imagine it being Halloween every day. No one knows what you actually look like.
Exactly.
That's kind of scary in itself.
Exactly,
How
man.
you supposed to hold a relationship if you somebody else?
Right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
man. Exactly. And the person's supposed to care about you for who you are,
Yeah.
not for what you are, but who you actually are, and you can be yourself 100% of the time, and them loving you for it in a special way.
Whenever you want, you can just take the mic.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, go. Johnny in the house.
To be honest with you, I
Try to
never
get it like a
really-
little closer
Okay,
to
a
you.
little
There you go.
closer. Yeah, I never really gave
Just don't make
the
out with it, that's
relationship scene. I guess you can. Yeah, just don't eat the mic.
Yeah.
I never really gave the relationship scene a lot of thought before. It's just kind of one of those things that just happens to you. You know, you start thinking, oh, and this is way back in the day. You start thinking to yourself like, hey, maybe I should start seeing what's out there. You know, seeing what my options could be as far as like someone to be with. But I definitely have come across a lot of the things you guys have talked about, like just now. But you kind of just have to go with, take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, those
It's just
things
a vice.
are fine if you need the courage to talk to someone. It's a good icebreaker, sure. But what do you do once you really get into the actual meats and potatoes of the conversation? Like, most people don't know how to hold a conversation.
Kind of like that picture of the glacier where you only see what's
Oh,
above,
Yeah,
and
like
then you
top
see under,
10%
and then like
90
everything else that's under,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah.
If anything, I would say those things are made just to get you to date, the rest of the time, you got to carry that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like your personality, what you bring to the table, I guess we can say.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really makes the difference. You're never going to learn that from anybody. That's just something you just know. You maybe figure it out, whatever, trial and error. Essentially, that's what dating is for some people, for the most part, until you find that person. It's really just trial and error. So, fuck it.
Most definitely, and I agree. I definitely agree with you on that one. You got to remember that you're not trying to give your life to somebody. You already have a great life on your own, and you have a great life to share with somebody. Not you just giving it to them. You're sharing it with them because your life is already great. Yeah. They're an add-on piece.
Yeah.
They're supposed to complement your life.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I've learned in the past year, in comparison to all my relationships before, not to a specific relationship, but what I've learned generally about relationships, which it seems so obvious. A lot of things seem obvious after the fact, but now, like when you're doing them, you don't really think of it until like later on. That dating really is like an exercise in itself. Like you gotta show up.
You know how you have to say it?
How do we say it?
Sparring. Yes.
Okay.
Think about like boxing. Sparring.
Okay, but boxing, you're trying to win something.
Okay, obviously.
I'll let you explain.
You're not gonna bring the Dukes out. You're not gonna bring the Dukes out in the middle of a conversation. But the idea, and this is one of those like mentalities that come from those kind of videos, is that you're just practicing. You're riffing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're seeing what works. You're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
That's kind of how people approach that.
Yeah, and I was talking about this in Tyler's episode. Everything in my life that I've gone decent at, and have picked up some sort of a skill in, everything's been through like practicing, studying, like doing genuine research, and actually like learning and trying to apply everything. I never thought about doing dating like that, like because there's this Jordan Peterson saying that I heard him say a long time ago. He was like, people need to stop going around asking how to find the right person, and they need to start saying, how do I become right for the right person?
Facts.
Yeah,
right.
Just like I said, you got to become who you want to date.
Because there is such thing as you could have a perfect opportunity come rise to you, and even outside of relationships, but you not have like the right, the right skill set or whatever for when it happens, to where you can't really capitalize on the opportunity. And I think it goes into relationships too.
Fumbling the bag.
Fumbling the bag. There you go. Fumbling the bag.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's happened to a couple people here.
Yeah.
You meet a girl, you're like, yo, I'd never get girls like this. And
Yeah.
then you're just not ready.
Yeah.
Maybe they want more than you, than you.
Yeah.
Just overall than you.
Yeah.
Or you're just not ready for that kind of commitment, and then you end up fumbling the bag, and it happens.
Yeah,
it's part of it. It's part of it. It's part of the process.
I fumbled a couple bags.
I'm sure most people have.
Like, damn.
So I'm sorry, and excuse my manners here, as I know the crowd doesn't really know you like that. Can you like give us like a couple sentences about yourself, real quick, just so the crowd knows who the hell it is that you were listening to here?
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm Jonathan. I went to school with all of them actually. This is how I know them.
Mm-hmm.
That's about. What else?
Yeah, like we've known each other for years. Like we went to the same school.
Honestly, yeah.
I think we're all kind of like around the similar, like knowing each other range, probably like 7 to 10 years.
It all just kind of happened in high school,
Jeez,
same
man.
time.
Yeah.
But all right, well, I'll give a little bit more background.
Yeah.
I'm currently in a relationship. I have a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy.
Yeah.
That's my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with everything, you don't get taught these things on relationships and how to make them work. So it's a learning process for sure.
Especially if you don't come from a household that really shows you that.
Yeah,
that is true.
For sure. That definitely can do it.
Anything else you want to share about yourself? Like, what is it that you do or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. So currently I work in banking. I'm hoping to just move up, a little bit, couple times.
That's awesome.
And then definitely entrepreneurship is in my future.
Love that.
There's a couple things I want to start, a couple things I want to do. I just kind of have been waiting for the right time to strike.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty confident that actually is coming
good
relatively soon. So.
Give us a fun fact. Give us a fun fact about Johnny here.
Fun fact about me.
Yeah.
Shit.
He tatted.
Team
Yeah,
Yadded.
I like tattoos. I like that. I'm all about the goth shit, I guess you could say that.
Okay.
It's pretty fucking cringe. but whatever.
John has taken me to some interesting events.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Well,
What
know,
was
we
the
should
most
we should have you
memorable
on
one?
for an episode one day, and we could go into all of that.
What would we even talk about? You know, I honestly was thinking about this.
Yeah.
I saw that you had brought on a lot of people that I know.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, that's really cool. I would love to do an episode, but that I really, what the fuck would I talk
That's
about?
what everybody says.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says. And it's not until we sit down and we dive into these random topics that just happen
Yeah.
that we really get to have that,
No, for sure. I
that
get that.
dialogue. So
If
we'll definitely have you on.
anything, I mean, shit, we'd probably start talking about like alien. Like,
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we can do that
sci-fi,
too.
Fucking science, history, bullshit.
So keep a
some shit
lookout.
like
Keep a
that.
lookout for Johnny's episode. It'll come out soon, but you won't know unless you subscribe. So please make sure you do that. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out anything.
Ring that bell.
So back to where we were. What do you guys think about these relationship experts on YouTube, social media in general these days?
Experts?
Like quote unquote experts. Like we're talking about the fresh and fits of the world and all of them. I don't want to call out
I wouldn't
anybody.
even call him an
but-
expert, honestly.
Well, they label themselves as experts. Yeah, you know,
Okay,
there's what you are, and there's how you see yourself, and there's how the world views you. You know.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think?
The only expert that can teach you in dating is getting experience. You don't learn shit until you go out there and do it yourself. You can read all the books you want. You can see all the podcasts you want. But you don't learn shit until you go out there. You talk to her and see what's your type and what you like and what the type of person you want to be when you date. Everything is just based on experience, trial and error. Yeah. But it does help when you get tips and advice from people. That does help. But like John said, like take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Like don't take it like to heart.
Yeah. Don't be
Yeah.
sitting at the bar just like fucking pulling out flashcards like, oh, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Can I buy you a drink? No.
Right, yeah.
Like, don't sit there and do that. That's
Yeah.
just cringe. No one's going to fall for that. You know what I mean? Just be you. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest takeaway I ever got from any of those things. And honestly, they weren't even like saying it. It's just kind of what I was in my head, kind of just paraphrasing. I was like, these guys are just essentially just coming up with whatever bullshit comes to their head. A lot of the times it's just striking that conversation, breaking that ice.
Yeah.
A quick teaser.
sounding
Into,
like
a
one
quick
of those
teaser into
myself.
Tyler's episode that I like that he said was that it already came out, so it's not even a teaser. So go watch it if you haven't already. He says, I think you said that we overcomplicated.
Yeah.
That we overcomplicated,
Yeah, most
and I
definitely.
think it's like we try to make like a science out of it. When at the end of the day, it's not a business. It doesn't have to be conducted as such. It's not a game of chess. It can feel like that sometimes, but at the end of
People do play chess.
exactly. But that's the thing. It's like personally, I cannot handle a relationship. I cannot handle myself in a relationship where I feel like I constantly need to be, like moving, like walking on eggshells. I want to feel natural. I want to feel myself. I want to feel like I could be open to you. Like I could be, me to you. Because at the end of the day, if you're with me, I would hope it's because it's me that you're into,
Exactly.
not this whatever it is that you may have heard of or might think of kind of thing like
Right.
that. So, I mean, what do you think of that?
I think it's like I said, originality is your strongest suit.
Mm-hmm.
I think what a lot of girls fall in love with is your originality to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That comes with a lot of confidence. Being yourself is confident
Mm-hmm.
because you're confident in who you are. And who you are is an individual who understands that your originality is your strongest suit when it comes down to the opposite sex. Exactly. One of one. There will never be anybody else after you. So what you bring to the table is unique.
Yes.
And understanding that what you bring to the table is unique will better help you with your confidence. So that's the foundation, man.
I
it's-
100% agree. Yeah, like you said, John, about like people like they'll read stuff online or try to like mimic what other people do. Like when you try to like steal other people's identity, it shows that you're not even confident of who you are as a person.
For real.
And what I learned, because I ain't gonna lie, like I was doing that at first because this is the only advice that was out on the internet. No one was giving game for men to actually get the women of your dreams. So I was kind of doing the same thing until I learned. I was like, I'm gonna just kind of like treat this girl as if it's like I don't really like if it's just like she's my friend. Like try to just be as normal as possible. And I noticed I started getting comfortable with that. And I started cracking jokes. I started being myself. I started showing like me, but just like 2.0, like get very comfortable and confident at myself. And then I noticed that I have a certain game that I like to spit, and I can't be like Michael B. Jordan or like a ball player. I can't just like spit the type of game they spit because they come with a different package. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
They don't even gotta spit it. They just say their name. That's
so,
it.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like
status to go with it.
Exactly. That comes with it too. Like everybody come with a different package of what they present to like the dating market or whatever.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned about. I'm sorry. Did you want to say anything on that? Because I wasn't.
I forgot.
Okay. Yeah. So if you do, just let me know.
Yeah,
you know, you were talking about the people that started giving out advice on essentially giving game. That took me back a little bit to when I lived in New York. I used to listen to I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos from Timothy DeLaGhetto. You remember him?
He's funny
Timothy
as hell.
DeLaGhetto?
He's funny as hell.
He was so funny, but he would low key also give game. Right, I remember watching this video of him. Right, this was around. You guys remember when that video went around of someone in Florida that they thought he was gonna become a zombie because he was on bath salts and he ate somebody's face.
Bro, I thought the apocalypse by bath
exactly, and like they quarantined Florida. They like
life.
quarantined Florida and all that stuff like that. I remember. I don't know how it happened. It was perfect timing, but I was watching. There was this girl I wanted to talk to at the time, and I did not know how the hell to go about it. I mean, she was way out of my league, or so I thought at the time. And I remember I came across this video of Timothy DeLaGhetto on how to, get the girl. And I literally watched the video and I started taking notes on it. And I literally applied it and it worked. So, I was hype as fuck. It worked once, never again though. And then it worked after again. I was like, girl, the zombie apocalypse happens.
That's like the bottle flip of
I got
dating.
you, kind of thing.
Like it happens once. And then you're done.
I got beginner's luck. I got beginner's luck.
Used your once.
There you go. I got it. What? Hey, nah, I'm not gonna say that, Drake Mart. I'm not gonna say that.
Sometimes when you use these pickup lines, you say it so many times, it start coming out like a robot. Like it don't come out like smooth. Yeah,
Also,
you're like, how many times you practice that?
Chances are they already heard it.
Yeah,
they've heard it before.
Bro.
You're not the first one. You're not inventive. You're just another one. You're freaking the fifth one to say it in that month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just unoriginal.
I hate that too. All right, you guys, should we get into some of these topics?
Absolutely. No, we should.
All right, so we got a list here, right? So we sourced from different people, different topics we could dive into, and then I hate those kind. I didn't realize that this coaster would do that. I might need to get a different one.
Make sure you guys ring that bell for subscribe.
Yeah, that's what that was. That's what that was. That's what
that is.
So. And I thought it'd be fun if you guys haven't been keeping up to date. ChatGPT has been blowing up in the internet recently, and people have been using it literally for anything. So I even sourced some topics that we could dive into from ChatGPT. So we might get into that as well. So guys, what do you want to get into first? We have a few different crowdsourced
I say we just
topics.
Go.
Just kind of go to it.
Go
all right.
At a time.
So, one of my buddies, we were talking about this while we were getting a haircut the other day. I was getting a haircut yesterday at the house, and my buddy came over to get one too. And one of the things he said that I really liked was social media severely impaired loyalty. Should we dive into that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cap.
Okay. So John says cap. Here's my take
Big
on
cap.
it. Here's my take on it. You do need to be disciplined, right? I think you need to understand that there's always going to be options out there. I could be wrong in even just saying that or like viewing it like that. I personally
You're more than welcome to have an opinion on it.
Personally, I think there's always going to be someone better looking. There's always going to be someone that knows more, has more, can do more. But then that goes back to the originality discussion of there's only one you. Yeah. So that's like your biggest win. But that being said, social media severely impairing loyalty. I think it's tough. Because you're constantly scrolling, and people are putting their best face, and they're looking really good and really good clothing, and in a way, I'm sorry, we're all. I like to think the best of people and their ability to think, and I think we know when we're trying to lure some attention, right?
Thirst trapping.
Exactly, thirst trapping.
Oh,
So
like the pictures I sent you,
Yeah.
the AI.
yeah,
that,
exactly.
A Photoshop catfish.
So I think it makes it hard for loyalty because you have so much out there that you see all of it that maybe you get to a point where it's like, damn, it's like there's so much out there. It's like, dude, do I really want to, sit down and one thing like am I what's it called? What's the term? Am I getting comfortable? Like, is this good for me? Like, do I want to go out and see more? I think it's challenging. I really do think it impairs loyalty because next thing you know, someone slides in your DM. And then next thing you know, you're doing some shit you shouldn't be doing. So I think it does impair loyalty to some extent, and it is challenging. What do you think, Kamal?
I think social media just like exaggerated a little bit. I don't think it impaired loyalty because I think people like was already tested from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? We all have to be on our best behavior. It's not just social media. So it's like you'll hear like in like the like 80s or 70s or whatever, like when people was tested by some of the people they work with or in their neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, like there's Becky across the street, she looking real good. Are you not talking to her? So all social media did was just like kind of like brought like a more like widely range.
So real quick, are you saying it's like one of those things where it's like it was already happening? Now we just are seeing it because we're able to put it out to the public out there more. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Like these people like were the same before social media came about. It's like you shouldn't have social media test of like who you really are as a person. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say to summarize that a dog is a dog regardless of what year it is, what they got,
Yeah.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
So with or without social media, if you're a dog, you're going to be a dog.
It doesn't matter. Well, there's people that are just like that. They just can't help themselves. And that's who they are. That's what they are. And to give them a cop out saying that social media was the reason they did it is kind of fucked because that's not really that's not a valid.
You think it's a cop out?
Kind of, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, I think so.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your actions, regardless of the circumstances.
So do you? Okay. So here's a question: do you think you're more likely to be tempted, and just generally speaking, do you think you're more likely to be tempted to do something you shouldn't do if you're around it more?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, yeah.
Most definitely, because at that point, you're a product of your environment.
Yeah. Let's get okay. So just so I realize where Tyler works long night shifts into the day. So we're very fortunate to have Tyler throughout the nights because he's really challenging himself.
Yeah.
So we get sleepy Tyler. We'll get some good short clips out of it.
Yeah, trust me, I'm aware.
Right.
Winding up an answer.
So what do you think about that? Do you think I'm interested to get your take because you're not on social media like that. Do you think it impairs loyalty?
Oh, definitely, man.
Okay.
I think for the most part, I always thought social media was a big time hole for a lot of people because they're looking at everybody else's false perception of reality. They're looking at somebody else's version of perfect, and they don't see what's going on behind it. You break that relationship open, you got two hurting people, two broken people. But, at the end of the day, I definitely do think it's would you say it's a tool to...
Is a tool to what?
You said it's, as far as, what was the question?
What was the question?
Social media.
Social media impairing loyalty.
Yeah, so it's hard to...
Oh, you're talking about you're more tempted to do something that you shouldn't do if you're around it more.
Right, because you're around it 24/7, so all you can do is give in.
Okay, he has a take on that. He has a take on that.
It's what's socially acceptable. So when you deem something socially acceptable, nobody feels like they're doing anything wrong. As a consequence.
And I want to
consequence.
dive into this a little bit more. I'm gonna start touching on some touchy subjects. But John, what were you gonna say? Are you okay with Johnny? Like,
No,
okay,
John is
okay,
fine.
okay,
I think John is easier.
okay, okay.
As long as you write it Jon, I'm cool with that.
Right, that's how I had you on my contact. Yeah.
I'm just gonna sound like a broken record here.
That's
but
all right.
It's all about accountability. At the end of the day, you choose what is on your social media. You know, you kind of choose that. It's everything. It's an algorithm. It's everything you interact with.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you actively, frequently interact with accounts of females, then that's what's going to show up on your social media.
That is true.
But once you start interacting with different types of things, like car things, sport things, money things, life improvement things, movie things, you know,
It's all about
then,
the algorithm.
right, the algorithm will then just give you things you want. So I think subconsciously, there's some people that might want to look at what's out there.
Yeah.
And that's what the algorithm is giving them, because that's what it does. It gives you what you want. It's designed to keep you on the app.
Yeah.
So whatever the hell it is that keeps you on the app, that's what it's going to give you. You know what I mean? Like a prime example, not lately, but I got back into soccer. All right. And because of how much of like soccer clips I watch and games and all that, a lot of my like feed is filled with soccer shit, you know? And at some point it was cars, and then it was car shit. And then when I was, single, out, being a city boy, as you would say, it would be a lot of like females and like models and things like that, because it thought that's what I wanted to see. Because again, the algorithm just gives you what you want.
Yeah.
So I think, again, it all comes down to accountability, kind of remembering that you control what that phone shows you, what the algorithm shows you.
Real quick, sorry. I think what John is trying to say that if anything, social media, they're so good with the algorithm that if anything, it's just going to exploit what your true intentions are, what's going on really in the back of the head.
Exactly.
Because even if you're in a relationship with somebody, if you're constantly scrolling through Instagram reels and all you're getting is girls in the gyms with like their tight clothes on and all that stuff like that, it kind of exploits it because you're watching it longer and stuff like that. So it's going to give you more of what
It shows you like accounts to the ones that you interact with.
Exactly. Yeah. So like they always say, it's not the money that changed you. It's So it's almost like
So you were saying that you reacted to him saying the accountable part. Like going the other way. So why did you do that?
Because I think at the end of the day, like, we're all grown adults, and I think a lot of people morals are tested because of social media.
Yeah.
So now they're like, oh, this influencer did this, so it must be okay to do this. It's like, no, that person is a terrible person. Future is not morally a good person.
Oh no, Future is.
You know what I'm saying? As good as his music is, and as lavish as his lifestyle is, like, don't follow him if you want to be in a healthy relationship.
I don't know if you drink coffee.
I would venture to say that he lives a very shallow, private life. You know?
Yeah.
It's if I was to guess, again, I don't know. Maybe this dude is the fucking most deepest guy that there is, and freaking out here Drake fucking singing ukulele songs to girls. But for the most part, I get the vibe that it's a very like exchange driven interaction with the women that he sees and the women that he hangs out with. It's like, you like me because I'm rich and famous, and I like you because you have a big butt and fake boobs or whatever.
Well, one
you
sec.
know.
Yeah. And, back to the social media. So when I said about money, right? So the thing is, they say a lot of people like females because of their beauty, and they say a lot of people like guys because of their possessions and their resources.
Right. That's how it's been for a long
social
time.
media gives off, you get attention, and they say that a woman at their most, their peak of their beauty is the most tested, and a man as most possessions of his resources is the most tested. So when he has those possessions and she's like at the peak of her
looks,
looks
I
or
guess
whatever.
you could say. Yeah.
She's like, I got all these options and I can do this and I can do that, until she gets to a later age and she's like, a lot of these people aren't hitting me up like they used to, and they start thinking different.
Yeah, because it doesn't last forever, man.
Exactly.
Beauty doesn't last forever.
I think there's a few different kinds of people on social media that when it comes to these kind of things. I think there's a really pretty good looking girl, physically. There's the ones that intellectually are really attractive because they pour out their thoughts and what they think and believe.
Yeah,
Interesting,
very interesting,
interesting
sure.
females. So you can say the same thing for men.
Yeah, sure.
But however, I think it can be a little bit challenging though, where this is where things are gonna start getting a little touchy. So
A little dicey.
yeah, just be careful with that because I don't want the smoke thingy to go off. And yeah, it's okay. But I'm glad you're comfortable. But look, I think that it's harder for a man to stand out in social media than it is for a girl.
Absolutely. You know why?
Why is that?
Because it's based on like aesthetics and looks.
Absolutely.
Females
Social
are
media is definitely about
beautiful.
the looks.
A lot of like most guys aren't like the best looking, so for them to stand out is through what, like, money, status.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was gonna go into. And God, I know I'm gonna get shit for this. Men are a man like sure.
Yeah.
If a man is good looking, it's great. But I think
cares.
when a man is, I think what really stands out in a man is when they're how capable they are.
Absolutely.
How capable
what
they
can
are.
provide, what they bring
But
to the table.
This is where shit's gonna hit the fan. Maybe, who knows? A woman, I think, in social media doesn't have to be all that like intellectually like talented, all that stuff like that. They could simply be just really pretty, like really attractive, and they could end up in someone's yacht. Whereas the man had to work hard to get that yacht. And like work his ass off for his life. I'm not saying that a woman can't get a yacht, but I'm saying I don't think a woman who has a yacht is gonna be shopping around for a man that's just pretty.
On their yacht,
You know what I'm saying? It's a little tough. So do you have any takes on that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been like that for God knows how long. I mean, like if you just take a look at like, again, I like history. Yeah. If you take a look at it, even like historically, like beauty, and even now, the beauty industry is huge. Beauty has always been a woman's like weapon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even back in the day, in the Victorian era, for example, they used to wear the corsets to accentuate their shape. Oh, yeah. Because at the end of the day, we're still, like primal animals, and we're
exactly.
We're driven by the desire to reproduce, and for some reason, people, well, not for some reason. I mean, I'm sure we probably all agree. A woman with a shapely figure, as you would call it, is obviously the more attractive option as to a woman without a shape.
And I think what's overlooked,
as you could say it.
I think what's overlooked is that at the end of the day, the women choose the winner.
Absolutely.
So that's a power they have. Whereas a man, it's you're either capable in getting what you want, or you have to deal with what you can get.
Here's my take on that.
Go ahead.
I mean, my take on that is definitely, women control access to sex and the right to bear children, and men control access to marriage and relationships.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when it comes to that, man, let's be honest. Sex has always been the oldest profession to anything. So by default, we're behind. And and I'm not saying it's like, as if we got to get ahead or anything like that. I'm saying it in the aspect as women have to vet us to make sure that we're going to be proper mates for them. So if we, to make sure that we can properly protect and provide. Mm-hmm. But I feel like in these dating norms now, men has civilized the world so much that we can sit around and actually complain about things that don't even actually matter.
Exactly. It's funny because as somebody mentioned, they was like, if I have a Pizza Hut across the street from me. I have video games and pornography. Why do I need to go? Why do I need to go out and go talk to females when I have it all? I have everything I want. You know, so, exactly. Yeah. So it takes the ambition, you know, of actually wanting to go out and hunt for the food. Want to actually go out and talk to the females. Want to go out and, you know, do those things. I say hunt for the food. What did I say?
Pornography.
I said hunt for the food, and I said go for the female. Okay, yeah. I didn't make sure I didn't twist my words up. Yeah. I'm talking crazy. Yeah. No. Go out and go get food. Go get put food on the table, and then go talk to females that you want to date, or whatever. Yeah.
Sorry. So that's okay. So what's the general consensus on social media impairing loyalty? Yes or no?
No.
No. I'm gonna say yes, and you can call me a dog all you want.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay. I'm gonna give a mixed answer because
So real quick, because I don't want the mic to sound muffled. There you go.
Gotcha. So I'm kind of on the fence.
Okay.
Because obviously, like I said, at the end of the day, you're still accountable for your actions, right?
Yeah.
But I will add, I do agree with your point that, you know, a lot of the times, because of social media and the accessibility that we have to so much, sometimes some people can kind of get misconceptions because of how much they see.
You know what's something I heard in relation to that? Someone I forget where I heard this, but someone said that men are as loyal as the options that they have, the number of options they have.
Yeah, sure, you can say that. Yeah, I feel that.
I don't know entirely how I feel about that option because as it goes about that saying, because you are right. Eventually, you do have to choose whether you want to be a dog or do you want to be like a settled man, kind of stuff like that. But that makes you think too. In the world where it's like, all right, let's put it this way, and I'm not trying to, you know, categorize anyone here. Let's say you go to a buffet, right?
Okay.
Are you only getting the General Tso's chicken, or
I know
or
where
are
this
you
is
getting
going.
everything else too?
I know where this is going. I don't like this answer.
Huh?
No, I'm kidding.
I like a variety.
You know what I'm saying?
I like them. I
get it.
Yeah, most.
You got to give us a final answer, though. You got to give us a final answer.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes down to it, you know, based on whoever's answering the question, it's always going to come down to their discipline and what they actually believe in.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. It's all about what you want.
Mm-hmm.
You got to know what you want.
So if you're 50-50, who do you give the 1 additional % to?
I'm going to say no.
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 Okay.
Because it all boils down to knowing what you want.
Okay.
At the end of the day, no one likes their time wasted.
Right.
So if you're in a relationship and you are not 100% in it,
Uh-huh.
mentally maybe,
Yeah.
then you're wasting someone's time.
True.
At
I
which
agree
point
with that. I
you
agree with
might want to reconsider what you're doing in that relationship, because you're not only doing them a disservice, but you're also doing yourself a disservice. Because if you really want to be out there being a city boy, then having a girlfriend's going to stop you from being a city boy. You know what I mean? Like nothing ever cop blocks you more than as a city boy than having a girlfriend. I mean, what else would... #CityBoy. I love that term. City boy is the funnest term.
So, were we gonna say
so also like it's also timing too. You know, we're in a place where females, they can go out, they can, you know what I'm saying, get a bag, they can get whatever they want, have as much opportunities as a dude.
Sure.
So it's almost like, you know what I'm saying, what do they really want men for? So the thing of what I was gonna say,
Before we dive into any other topics, is that what you're doing right now?
No.
Yeah, we're taking a while.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I knew this podcast was gonna be longer, so that's why I was okay with that. We're already touching.
All right, well, he gets the final opinion on this one. Then we move on. I guess.
So,
I would
close
say.
us out on that topic.
Okay, what did I just say? They have.
We can come back to it.
What did you say? What did you say?
You can't ask me that. I don't remember.
So here, I'm gonna close us out on that topic. So we got no, yes, no. So the first thing I want to point.
I was
The first thing. All right, so you want to share it real quick?
Yeah, real quick. So we're at a different time, and this is not the 1950s.
Right.
So like they have more opportunities. So imagine if social media was around back then, would it still be the same? No. Exactly. So that's why.
Worse or better now,
That's what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter of social media. It's also timing too about the place, the decade that we're in.
So,
Okay.
Okay. So all right. So no, yes, no. First thing I want to point out is you see that we clearly aren't a bunch of yes men here. We all have our own views, which is exactly what I love because it brings different kinds of perspectives into it. So because it's 50-50 technically, what I want the audience to do is go in the comment section and give us their thoughts on it and let us know where you stand because right now we're 50-50. We want to know where the general consensus of the audience is too. Right. So yeah, that's social media impairing loyalty. What topic do we want to dive into next, guys?
I think we should
Someone pick. I started off.
Toxic masculinity.
Okay, I'm gonna be as newbie as possible. Kamal is saying we should go into toxic masculinity. I'm gonna be a newbie as possible because I to be honest with you, I really don't know much about that. So I'm gonna let you guys lead the way on this, and then do you feel like you're well versed enough to go into that? We can.
I have a question.
Okay, all
I have
right.
a
So
question.
guys, so take over. Here, take it.
It doesn't exist. You're a toxic person. You know what I'm saying? It's not toxic because it's toxic females too. So it's not just toxic masculinity. It's just you're a toxic person. That's it.
Can someone real quick look up the definition of toxic
That's what I was
masculinity?
thinking, 'cause I don't know
Do
what it
that.
means.
Do
That was
that.
my
Do that.
question.
Do that. So while you say what you're gonna say, he'll do that. No, Tyler, like yeah.
Okay. I feel like toxic masculinity.
It sounds like an Urban Dictionary definition type shit.
I really do, because I feel like it's a made up term to detest men's standards and their morality. Whenever a man has standards, or he tells a woman no, or he say, "Oh, I'm not going for that," he's toxic, or he's controlling, or he doesn't trust you.
Exactly. Yeah. Small PP energy.
Yeah. So, whenever you I feel like that occurs, you have to stand firm in your beliefs and your standards.
Yeah.
So if you feel as though something's not going to go right, then you have to stand firm on that.
Yeah.
Or let that person lose you. Give them what they want and let them lose you.
Yeah.
Because the universe will always whisper before it shouts.
Oof. Okay. So John, what did you find for us here?
I don't think the internet has a standard answer for this.
You don't got
one.
the answers, John?
They don't got the answers.
You don't got
Sway.
the answers?
No answers,
Yeah.
Sway. There's a lot of definitions, dog.
So give us the first thing that you find.
All right, the first one that Google gave me was an attitude or set of social guidelines stereotypically associated with manliness that often have a negative impact on men, women, and society in general. That's one. But then there's other ones. The next question, you know how Google gives you multiple answers, like multiple questions. So the next one is what toxic masculinity really means, where the more broad answer is a dominant form of masculinity where men use dominance, violence, and control to assert their power and superiority. The other one I got, which the question is, what is toxic masculinity and what is it, and why does it matter? It refers to the notion that some people's idea of manliness, quote unquote, perpetuates domination, homophobia, and aggression. And then there's one last one that I thought was an interesting question. So what is healthy masculinity?
Okay.
That's a good question.
I haven't heard of that.
So it says here, healthy masculinity is when men flourish first for themselves, then for their families, prosperity, and communities. A man embodying healthy masculinity knows who he is. He is physically healthy and strong. He is pursuing and developing his skills and capabilities to make him more competent and able to take
That
action.
to me sounds as simple as, without even getting gender involved, it just sounds like individual leadership.
That is essential.
That's exactly what that is. And society calls it something
and
else.
it kind of boils down to what Kamal said, where it's just like, don't be toxic.
Yeah.
Like, and I kind of get what, I mean, I feel like we all kind of get what they mean by toxic masculinity, where it's like, I do these things because I'm a man and that's it. And I don't owe you an explanation.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of where the internet kind of agrees that toxic masculinity kind of means or what it stands for. It's those people that have the idea or the notion that I'm a man, therefore I'm better than you in some way.
Yeah, and
that's the end of it, and they're not willing to hear anything else.
I think what we could all agree with is that violence is not okay in any shape or form.
Never.
Controlling someone is not okay in any shape or form.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think there's absolutely not wrong with having your own non-negotiables, with your own standards,
knowing what you like and don't like,
and if it's healthy masculinity or just individual leadership itself. There's nothing wrong with being selfish to be selfless, and you can't pour out of an empty cup. So you can only serve others as much as you can serve yourself. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
Would you venture to say that I don't even know his name, but a good example that we all kind of knew and we brought up before we started this episode was the guy from Fit and Fresh. I would say he kind of exemplifies what most people would kind of define as toxic masculinity. Yeah. Sure. Sometimes he makes some valid points in some things.
So specifically, which one are you talking about here? Both of them? So Fresh.
The main guy.
The
main guy. I don't know his name.
Yeah. Fit is typically the guy on the left. Fresh is typically the guy on the right. It's like the really outspoken guy.
I think it's
the really outspoken guy is
the guy
the fit guy.
Like, takes control of the whole conversation essentially, and essentially tries to in every single episode tries to like essentially antagonize women.
Here's my take. Here's my take on the Fresh and Fit guys. And look, Fresh and Fit guys. I mean, congratulations on your success. You guys been doing great.
They have a good
mean,
audience.
clearly people watch you.
Audience,
so you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. In today's world, the biggest currency is attention, and you guys are definitely pulling.
They're
it.
generating content, which is like
congratulations.
the key.
Here's what I will say about that dynamic. I think Fit, the guy that's of the two, Fresh and Fit. I think Fit is a really outspoken guy. I think Fresh is kind of follow his lead. I think that if we were to, I don't want to say this to him, but if it's toxic masculinity, I would say he's kind of on the side of it, which is a little disappointing because I know he comes from a good place.
Agrees with that.
I would say, what's up?
I would say he agrees with that.
Yeah,
and he's unapologetic about it too.
Okay, yeah, and that's my thing. So I think he comes from a good place. I think his intentions are good. I think it goes back to the thing. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right?
Sure.
Because he's definitely capable. Like, he's an educated person that built a career and now is in media, sharing his experiences and his beliefs, which is absolutely fine. But I think there's always a balance, right? And like as I say, like too much of anything can be a bad thing. Sure. I think sometimes the way he goes about expressing his beliefs and everything are so outlandish that it really comes off as toxic and negative and very I don't know what the word is, like just toxic, that it damages
inflammatory
that it really doesn't get his actual intentions across, and I think overall brings this unnecessary negative attention to him, which creates unnecessary enemies and brings like unnecessary negative energy to what it is that he does.
Yeah, so and I was gonna say, cause I sometimes watch their vlogs, so like or other people videos of filming them. They're actually not really like that, like in real life. They're chill. It's just that's how they are on the show because that's like the performing, performing the content. They have
comes off more as a debate show than anything else.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely there to debate.
I remember Myron Fit. He was like somebody mentioned about the whole like topic or whatever modern day, and he was like, I don't even want to get into that. I'm not working right now. He was just like, I'm chilling or whatever, and I was just like, I know like he's not like that. Like if you meet him in person, that's just how he is on the show, and I mean he's doing a good job at whatever he's trying to do.
He's finding success.
I'm not. I get it. You do have to put up. You kind of got to act a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I don't like it when he starts cussing at people to get his point across. Like I've seen sometimes he goes like out of pocket. He'd be like, STFU, BITCH, like you're wrong, I'm right. I think that's just unhealthy debate, right? You want to have debate. If you want to have a debate, you got to be willing to hear the other person's side as much as you're willing to say your side. And if you're going to have people as a guest, you can't pull, no, it's my show. I'm going to say what I'm going to say and you're going to listen. So
I think... where I really feel like he hits a wall at, and where a lot of people hit a wall at when they're giving advice. you give unsolicited advice to an audience.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is, in scripture, they say, don't cast pearls among swine. And that's a lesson for life. And what it basically means is you don't talk to people that don't want to listen to you,
Mm-hmm.
because you're devaluing what you say when you're offering your voice to an audience that does not care about it.
Falling on deaf ears.
Yeah, so you don't offer your voice to an audience that doesn't care. You find people to listen because you don't want to devalue what you say. You want what you're saying to stick. So I feel like with him, the disconnect is that they feel as though he's talking to them in a condescending tone, and all he's actually doing is actually telling them the truth about men's perspective, but he's doing so in a very rough manner, to where it's not registering properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because in this day and age, let's be honest, everybody is overly sensitive about every little single thing. I said it before and I'll say it again. We've civilized the world so much to the point where people can go out here and say they don't need a man or for this and that. Because back in the day, we actually needed each other to survive.
Yeah.
But nowadays, we civilize the world so much that people can sit around and complain about things that actually don't matter.
Yeah, John, did you have any thoughts on that? By the way, but the whole freshman thing.
I will. I will add. It also doesn't help. I've noticed that a lot of the female perspective they bring on the show is very low IQ, I guess you could say.
Okay.
They're just very, and maybe they do it on purpose. Maybe that is genuinely what they are able to get.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the perspectives that females can provide on that show is very, I guess, not your average view. Like not what your average girl would think. They always get some sort of OnlyFans girl, or they get some sort of toxic feminist that is fuck man. And then the guys just sitting there being like, well, fuck you.
They get the extreme.
Yeah,
so
they do. They definitely do. They get the extreme.
They usually say it's the loudest person that's you see the most. All the the girls that's that be chilling. So no one sees them
They don't
because
go on those shows.
Exactly.
They just don't go on those type of shows because they don't want that kind of attention, that kind of drama, that kind of just to be in that environment.
All right,
Because
so
they know that no matter what they say, this guy's not going to change his mind.
all right, so closing thoughts on toxic masculinity. Does it exist? Is toxic masculinity a thing, or what do you guys think? Yes or no?
Google can't even find a definition, so no.
No.
Yeah,
I say no, and I'll dive into the NY.
No.
I would say no. I agree.
Okay, so the general consensus is no. Audience, please let us know. I think it's just, as we discussed earlier, I think there's just toxic people.
Yes.
You're either toxic or you're not. It doesn't have to be gender specified.
Yeah.
You're either toxic man, woman, or whatever it is you want to call yourself. Identify as. I'm not even gonna get into that. But you're either toxic or you're not. And then I think this whole and I don't really hear too much about toxic femininity. Is that would be the opposite?
No, it would be the
It would be the opposite, right? Yeah, I don't hear enough.
Why? Yeah. Because it's the same reason why people say misogyny and not what's the opposite of it? Misandry. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
okay.
that's the actual
I would
word.
say it's because it's a term that was probably made by those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's again,
Okay.
it's one of those terms to downplay men in a way. I don't know.
So toxic masculinity, we don't think is a thing. We think you're either toxic or you're not. Doesn't matter what the hell it is. It's between your legs. So, if you're toxic, get it together. If you're not, keep doing you.
Honestly, I will say this: if you're toxic, sure, be toxic. Just be honest about it. Be open.
Yeah, that too.
Don't try to pretend like you're someone you're not.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
All right.
Because I get it. Everybody wants their city boy, city girl phase.
yeah.
So fuck it.
All right, so let's get into one or two more topics before we close out. Kamal chose toxic masculinity. I did the impaired loyalty with social media earlier. Tyler, tell us one you want to get into.
Ooh, let's talk about The rise of feminism.
Okay. Rise of feminism. Okay.
Okay.
I clearly did enough. I did not do enough homework for this. Okay, so I'll let you lead the way on this.
All right. So when I think about feminism and what it actually stood for back in it, way back when, I think nowadays it's extremely watered down to something completely different than what it actually stood for. What I have noticed is if you go up to a lot of women that were feminists, way back when, when our grandmothers were around, their views and perspectives are completely different, and they're not as drastic or extreme. And what I mean by that is they made their points extremely specific. It wasn't over a broad spectrum, and when they had a problem with something, they were able to come to some kind of some type of conclusion as to how to fix the problem. They were a lot more geared toward fixing the problem than bashing men. Yeah, the opposite sex, because they knew what they wanted. They were very specific.
Yeah. So I was gonna go. Yeah. Before we even dive into it further, I just so we all have common ground on what the definition is. So first we looked at feminism, and obviously to some of you, it's like, why the hell is he looking it up? It's so obvious. But just to we all understand, So the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. I will say one thing about this. That's what I knew it to be as in the beginning. And this goes into what you were saying a little bit. I think now that has turned into shrinking man and making it seem like lesser to seem like women are bigger. Look, that you want to be a strong, independent woman, that's fine. But there's no need to make someone seem like less for you to seem bigger. You know what that is? That's bullying.
That's bringing someone down.
That's textbook bullying. Yeah. If you want to bring someone else down and make yourself seem bigger, that's bullying to the T. So, and bullying does not care about your gender. What you identify as. That could happen in any range of the spectrum. So I think, as you were saying, its original definition got lost over time.
It's definitely lost in translation.
And I think now it has become something more toxic than its original intent.
I would agree.
Yeah. So what is your take on it? On your thoughts or opinions?
If I mean, it's not very much, but I would just say that I agree with you. Like at this point, it's really just about bashing the opposite sex. I get it, equality. If anything, I think a lot of recent things have mentioned the word equity. Instead of equality, equity. We all get the same thing in some sort of way. I don't know which one is which, honestly, but I think we kind of got away from the point of because back in those days it really was about equal treatment, and there was women that wanted to enter the workforce, and that helped them achieve that. And to this day, I'm sure
they was fighting for human rights.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Like if this is a path, if the working life is a path that you want to pursue, then you should be able to go for it. You should not. Your options should not only be a homemaker or a housewife, as some people would call it. You know what I mean? But like you said, once we start getting into belittling the opposite sex, and this can even go for men too. Like once they start belittling the opposite sex, you kind of just lose a lot of credibility, because it's not about what we have to offer and what we could bring to the table. It's about why are they getting this and I'm not? Does that make sense?
Right.
I mean, even some people that are like on the side of like white supremacy will say this. They'll be like, well, why are some people of color getting these government benefits and I'm not? Which again is just about they didn't have those before, and this is a way to level the playing field, which is what a lot of things are, at least nowadays, are happening. They're trying to level the playing field. That's why some women nowadays are getting more advantages than men for joining the workforce and for working for certain industries and stuff, because it wasn't as common back in the day. So now they're trying to level the playing field. There's obviously overcompensating in some way from some places. Like one example I'll give is when they start making like remakes of movies that were like primarily a male cast, because that's how it was written by the person that made the story. And then out of nowhere, freaking like Disney or some one of those woke companies will come around and say, oh, well, this is now an all-female cast version of that same movie. When it's like, but why are you doing it? Are you doing it genuinely because the story just makes sense to be all female, or are you just doing it to kind of seem woke and seem like you're keeping up with times? And that's the same thing with like studios and Hollywood making different things with like LGBTQ plus themed things where like a character maybe wasn't LGBTQ plus before, and now they are, and there's no genuine explanation. It's just because we want to, you know what I mean? Or making, like I said, making a movie with an all female cast that before wasn't written like that, but now they are, and even with color, you know what I mean? Like if a character was written to be don't make
Wolverine black.
Yeah,
please.
That's the craziest thing.
I love Black Panther, but don't make Wolverine black.
We all agree. Like he was, like he looks how he looks. He was written how he was written, and let's just let it be that. Like because at that point you're not doing it out of genuinity. You're doing it to seem woke. Yeah. And it's fake, and we can see it. Yeah. You know, we can all see through it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, why are we doing some of the things that we're doing? Is it to genuinely like level out the playing field, or is it to seem woke?
Yeah. So it's a hot take, and it's very controversial. There's a lot to it. It's a very hot take. They say that now feminism is fighting for superiority rather than equality because they want the same results rather than just having that same opportunity. They want the outcome than just the option. Just the option to have it.
Yeah, and it doesn't work like that, man. You know, what you have to understand is, and I'm gonna break it down like this: us as a minority, we didn't want equal outcomes. We wanted equal rights, an opportunity. Opportunity gets you a ticket to the dance, but does not guarantee you a spot at the top.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, as long as you go into it showing the mental competency that in which the job or whatever you're applying for is looking for, you'll be chosen for that. But by no standard are they just been like, oh, I'm just going to choose you because you're your gender. They're going to pick the most capable and qualified person for the position.
Yeah.
So, it's an opportunity. You have the right to do so, but just don't expect equal outcomes because they're not going to be the same, because not everybody operates and does the same thing the same way.
Exactly, yeah. Not everybody wants to do the same thing you do. You know what I'm saying? We're all like different. You know what I'm saying? I'm not 6'10", so I'm not even gonna try. You know what I'm saying? To try to be better than a center in the NBA or whatever. It's just I'm just not built to do that, and I'm okay with it. I have strengths in certain other things that they don't. I know, and
you can fit a regular size shoe. You
have
that going. You don't have to wear 17s.
Originality.
Exactly.
All right, so let's close out this topic. So we were just
we got a lot
on the rise of feminism. Okay, so what is our general consensus on that? Do we think it's heading in the right direction, in a wrong direction? Do we think it's getting lost in translation? In a sentence, what do you think? Let's go around.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not in the feminism space, so I don't, cause I know like it's certain girls that don't even agree with other girls in the space, so I don't even know like what they're trying to, you know what I'm saying, like what are they trying to push? Like I don't know. I do agree though, females should have equal rights as men. You know, I believe in human rights, but I don't believe in trying to like put people down. That's just me personally. Yeah.
Right. I think that we need to go back to the drawing board and look at what we originally drew and why we drew it, and ask ourselves, are we still aligned with our original mission? And if not, how can we get back on track? Because this whole belittling, man, as John said, I don't think, and it's gonna win it all. You don't win by making someone seem like lesser or less capable or anything like that. You win by working together, right? Because that's what leadership is. You gather, you work with a group of people of all kinds of backgrounds, genders, whatever the case, and you all work towards a common goal. Because that's at the end of the day. We have one world, and we all got to share it. So why don't we best learn how to make it work together?
Yeah, make the adjustments.
Yeah.
Make the adjustments. As an adult, you owe it to your peers, you owe it to your community, you owe it to your friends and your family to grow yourself up.
It's just you. I don't know why it's happening to just you. That's funny.
To grow yourself up and to discipline yourself when you need it. I think it's extremely imperative for you to orient yourself as much as possible in this life.
Shoot, I don't think I have the
answers.
I don't got.
John,
the
you got the answers.
I don't got the answers, Sway. I don't know. I'm on the fence. I think that the movement started with the right mentality.
You should go into politics, John.
And at some point,
you're right on the
man,
fence. You're playing
I'm on
both
the fence.
sides.
I'm bipartisan. I just want us all to get along. World peace and,
what do you
and
think?
hunger.
Are we getting lost in what?
Yeah,
the original
definitely.
goal,
I
or what?
agree with that. I think a lot of things are getting lost in translation. And I will say this: if anything, it's a little tidbit of a little advice. You make you do more by making allies than making enemies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So maybe if instead of bringing other people down, we all kind of just really talked about what is really going on, maybe that would solve some of the issues.
Yep.
But I don't see it happening, to be honest with you. A lot of people are stuck in their ways, and we have extremes on both sides. So it would be a little difficult, but it's doable. It's not impossible. I mean, technically nothing is impossible, but
Right.
it's doable. It would just take a lot of work and the right people.
Right.
Okay.
So that's my take on that.
Okay. All right. So guys, let's get into the last topic. John, you're up.
Oh shit. Okay.
Let's make this one fun.
Okay, there's a lot of good ones here, actually.
Okay. One.
I did have a question. I don't mean to sound ignorant, but what is hypergamy?
Oh.
What is that? What is hypergamy? I saw that, and it kind of like, I was like,
That was
what
Tyler's
does
thing.
that mean?
That was you?
was me.
That was you?
Yeah.
So what is hypergamy?
Okay, well, then
So
you're
give
up.
us the.
He's looking it up. He suggested
It's
we
safe.
talk about hypergamy.
It's best to be safe than sorry, you know?
Go ahead.
Well, what it? Okay, give us.
Let's start with what you
answer
find.
and then your answer. How
Okay.
about that?
I also before once we do get into that topic, I do, just because I want to acknowledge some of the people that did also give their take on Instagram and everything. I want to go into one or two after that, but we'll make it very brief.
Okay.
But I'll let you lead the way with hypergamy. I personally don't know what that is.
Okay, so hypergamy is the action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or educational background.
The action of marrying or forming a
I get it.
with a person of superior. Okay.
It's marrying up.
Exactly.
Marrying up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finding you truly, by definition of the word, your better half.
So
Someone that is making more money than you, more advanced in life in their career than you, maybe has a different outlook on life better than yours, and maybe I guess at some point would maybe get you to kind of follow in their footsteps as far as how they got to where they got, maybe, I guess.
So lead us into this one, Kamal. What do you think?
I don't know. That's a hard one.
So, yeah, hypergamy is like basically like, it's in, it's so
Give us
constant.
your take on it. Why did you want to talk about this?
I wanted to talk about it because it's realistic.
Yeah.
Let's all be realistic. Majority of the females when they date, they were talking about straight females.
Don't filter yourself. Come on.
They want to date the best man. They do not want to date
The best suitor.
the best suitor, the best mate. No one's picking the dude that's in this basement eating hot Cheetos, jerking off all the time. It's always the person that's out there
Getting it.
yeah,
Being
just-
about their shit. Like,
yeah,
getting
exactly.
the bag.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what's
all
the issue
that.
with that? What's the issue with that?
some people say it's not real.
How do you feel about hypergamy?
So we were just on hypergamy. We had some technical difficulties, but we're back online now. So here we are. Let's resume. Hypergamy, yeah.
Yes.
Want to date the what's it called, the 6 foot guy, whatever all that stuff?
Yeah. Basically, the top 1% guy that most of the girls prefer to have, and there's nothing wrong with having standards. I think the thing is just guy standards are just not as high as that, because we don't those are our requirements.
Yeah.
So what's okay? I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand real quick. What is it about hypergamy that we're discussing here? Is it getting unrealistic? Do people need to lower their standards? What is it?
I was gonna say just people are unrealistic, and they believe like it's not a thing. It's like there's like 1% is not a lot, and you talking about like a good majority of these females want that 1% guy. You talking about someone that makes $500,000 a year? It's like the average guy makes like what, like 40K? Yeah, 30K a year.
The average income in the U.S. right now is like 50K, so 50 something K a year.
For men, it's 35,123.
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Okay.
The average.
The average. Okay. I haven't looked into gender specific, but I know that the average U.S. salary is around 50 something. But even then, that's a challenge enough as it is today.
But one thing I want to add is that getting into the issue of hypergamy is that a lot of those, because I will say, a lot of the time the disconnect comes from the female side, where they want that 1% man, but what are they bringing to the table? That's going to draw the attention of that 1% man, because at the end of the day, you have to remember that guy has options.
Yeah.
The 1% man has plenty of options.
Yeah.
So what are you bringing to the table that makes it worth his while?
So you want the 1% man, but can you maintain the 1% man?
Exactly? Do you have what it takes to keep that 1%?
Do you
man
have
in
that
your
1%
life?
energy?
Exactly.
That 1%
because
energy.
that 1% man is looking for that 1% woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not in the aspect of income and money.
Yeah.
But in what that person can provide for them as far as emotional support and love and the basic stuff of like what makes a relationship tick, essentially.
Yeah, they don't want more of what they already have. They
Yeah.
want more of what they don't really have.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Tyler? Hypergamy.
I definitely agree with what John is saying. Women definitely tend to get bored a lot faster in a relationship.
Them girls shoot high, man.
And
Yeah.
I think that's why.
So
I said,
is the problem that the hypergamy is the standards are becoming unrealistically high?
I think they bought into the whole Disney fairy tale.
Okay.
That's what I say. In the last time we spoke, people have this unrealistic expectation of what a healthy relationship looks like, without actually being in a healthy relationship or actually identifying it. Even if you had all those things to begin with, you wouldn't have the mental capacity to respect it at all. Yeah. So by default, you would destroy that relationship, wholesale, in any other relationship that you choose to get into, because you have to build up yourself first. And I'm not talking about wealth or anything like that. I'm talking about like mental clarity.
Yeah.
Like mental clarity, understanding what you're dealing with and who you're dealing with, and knowing that sometimes
the camera though. Just be careful. You're good.
knowing certain.
You guys got to pay for the rest.
On Patreon.
Yeah, just plug in the portable charger into that hole there. Yeah. Yeah, so the thing doesn't die. Yeah, go ahead.
So knowing where you stand when it comes down to your sexual dating market, the sexual dating marketplace is also extremely beneficial too. So that puts you in a more realistic mindset of what your value is.
Turn on the portable charger though. There's a button on the side.
Of what your value is when it comes down to the sexual dating marketplace. I think a lot of females don't understand that too. let's be honest, in this world, there's not enough men to go
Yeah.
around, and statistics have proven, based on your preference in a man,
Thank you.
that's definitely going to determine that's going to play a part in how you choose a partner. Females want this top 1% guy, but you're not understanding that most guys that make that type of money, they're a lot older. They tend to be a lot older, and they're at the end of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to have kids, good luck having the kids with an older man. And not only that, if you have a preference in race,
Mm-hmm.
black men typically don't make that kind of money.
Yeah.
Black men, the most black men that make that type of money, that's the top 1/10 of a percent. If you're making 80 grand, that's the top 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't being broadcasted to a lot of these females that are coming up with these unrealistic ideas of what a man makes. But they're also taking away the fact that man could possibly make more. But does he really need to?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he might need about $30,000 from your income, to survive. You can survive off $100,000 a year. That's more than enough.
Yeah.
If you're financially responsible with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
But everybody's got this unrealistic expectation of what you need when it comes down to finances. And I think, if you're going to sit there and marry somebody, whoever the female is, you should definitely have that talk with her.
Okay.
About what's going to be expected.
Yeah.
But I feel like going into a relationship, you should already know what's expected of you, because you should have the mental capacity to know what you want from one another. Like he said.
Yeah. Okay. So hypergamy in a nutshell is what? Dating up? Is that
Yes.
marrying up? Marrying or dating?
It's marrying.
Marrying. Okay.
Like marrying into money.
Okay.
Essentially, which is more common in females.
Yeah, marrying up is not a new thing. That thing, as I'm sure, as I believe, it's probably been around for as long as it's been even labeled.
That was
Yeah.
a metric to measure how much someone was worth.
Yeah.
So I think, how do I put this? Let's put this in a way that maybe some people, maybe we could understand a little better. You're not going to step into a ring as an amateur fighter expecting to knock out the pro fighter, right? So I think what I say by that is know where you stand in that dynamic, and then try to be of service, maybe, so you could become even more valuable with that. Because I'm sorry, you're not if you're not gonna be wherever you're at, and let's say you're not gonna. I don't think one should approach someone like that's here to someone that's here and try to tell the person up here how to go about things. Yeah, it's unrealistic. There's a reason why things like mentors and mentees exist. There's a reason why there's teachers and there's students. There's a reason why all those like different levels exist, because there is levels to it. Yeah. So, and you can work up to that level. Yeah. Just make sure you're aware of it. What
are you saying as far as like everyone or men or women? Because you're saying to work up.
Everybody.
Because I definitely know that when it comes to, at least with money, one of the many ways to become financially well off is marrying into it, and that you could be a man or a woman by doing that. Yeah. So I think it's just being self-aware of where you stand in there and how you could be of most value, so you can best play that position. But at the same time, I hope that's not where you're going into it. If you're marrying up just so you could live a better life, there's nothing wrong with that. Who doesn't want to live a better life? Yeah, if you don't want to if you want to live a better life, there's nothing wrong with that. But let's also let's
remember
step back
the
on
dynamic
Earth.
that exists in your relationship.
Exactly.
Like a guy that's making millions of dollars a year is not gonna want to sit there and be told what to do.
Yeah.
For the most part, unless that person has the qualifications to give him advice. That the guy that's making those millions of dollars a year is not gonna just take unsolicited advice.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what do you know about what I'm doing?
Like, why should I listen to you?
Why should I listen to you?
Yeah.
And not only that, he's barely gonna be home.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, no. You have to understand that 1% man
Look,
is gonna
you-
put his work first.
And that goes with anyone, really. You can't expect a 1% person to be doing what 99% of the people are doing.
Yeah,
So if you
no, they're on a
expand that
different game.
99% behavior, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. I'm sorry.
Yep.
That's just how it goes. And specifically, that's how it goes with entrepreneurs. You can't expect an entrepreneur to make it to home by 6 every night. No, that's not how it works. We leave a 9 to 5 to work 9 to 9. We stop working 5 days a week to work 7 days a week. You know, it's different. So
at some point, the side hustle, like the hobbies, are side hustles. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's not just like you're just doing things for fun.
But at the
it's
same
growing
time,
something. For
I
you.
might have to miss dinner. I might have to miss an event from time to time. But you know what? At the same time, you're not really complaining when we're taking you out to a Mykonos, you know, in first class.
Yeah.
Or when we got like the nice infinity pool, overseeing the beautiful sunset. You're not really complaining then, are you?
No.
So let's also keep that in mind when I have to miss a thing or two. Someone has to get it done. And look, that could be you too. But let's just be aware here. So are we good on hypergamy? Anyone else have any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have anything to
I
add.
agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I definitely do.
Yeah, because they want to, just generally speaking, they want to complain about you not being able to do one thing, but then they're really not complaining when they're drinking out of a fine waterful crystal glass, or they get the nice, pretty nails done, or they got the nice little sparkly jewelry on them because you treated them that for Valentine's Day or their birthday or Christmas or whatever it might be. So let's just remember that, you know.
And then also, no, you go.
They say either you want to cry in a Honda or a Porsche.
Okay, so that was hypergamy. Nothing wrong with dating up. Nothing wrong with marrying up. Just be self-aware of what it is you bring to the table and play your cards the best you can, and just leverage yourself the best way you can. Anything else on hypergamy, guys?
Nope.
Before we move forward.
Nope.
Okay. So we've gone at it for a while now. I think it's like hour and a half now is the count.
More.
This is the longest podcast we have definitely done.
I had a feeling it was gonna get it.
Yeah.
It's packed. It's packed.
What has been your overall take on this on the podcast today?
I like talking about these things with everyone, not just guys. I like getting females' perspective on the dating because
That would be interesting.
Huh?
That would be very interesting for another.
Yeah,
episode.
it's I heard different things. Yeah,
For sure.
So, I mean, yeah, I just like different people's perspectives pretty much. I talk about this stuff literally all the time.
Talia, what you think about this podcast in comparison to all the other ones?
Like I said, mainly for the most part, I like the different mindsets that come in, and everybody has their own perspective on these different topics, and I think that's extremely important for us to learn from. So I find it extremely educational and very informative. That's how I look at it.
Okay.
I always try to go into every single scenario understanding the fact that the person that I'm talking to might know more than what I do. So,
There's always something you can learn from someone.
yep, Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules of Life. That's one of them.
John, what are your thoughts? This is your first podcast ever,
I know it's crazy.
at least that I know of.
No, this is
Yeah. So what were your thoughts on it? You wanna? Get that a
yeah,
little
I mean,
closer.
I like the topics that we have. I think that you got some good topics. Hypergamy was definitely a good one.
Yeah.
It brings out a lot of things that maybe sometimes are not
Yeah.
said. So I like it.
I think-
it's a good topic to get into.
I think we didn't shy away from the complicated conversations today, which I think is always cool because with all the social, how do I say it? The social caging, not caging, but like. It's like sometimes people are afraid to speak on certain things because of what the world might say or do, and I think that we kind of took it on today, and I don't know what the outcome of it is going to be, but hey, we're here for it. So we covered some topics. We didn't cover all of them. It was a lot. So I'm taking that as maybe something to go into in the future, maybe part 2.
Yeah,
Who
there's
knows?
some good ones
We'll
here.
see how this
I'm
goes.
down.
And if the podcast page randomly disappears, we know why. But till then, it's been great. Hey, guys, anything else? Anything else like we need to close out on before we move on? Huh? Anything? We've been all good?
So we're moving on to the next.
No, we're closing out at this point. Yeah.
Everybody dating experience is different. You don't never learn it until you do it yourself. Take certain advice with a grain of salt. have a positive mindset into going in this dating field. It's not all as bad as people think. It's just that's what you see on social media and from the loud people. I believe like there's gonna be someone that suits you in the relationship that you want. Yeah, I try to be optimistic. You know, people still date. People still, you know. Or
Anything else?
I would say if that's what you're looking for, then be willing to put yourself out there.
Okay.
And, be willing to accept rejection.
Okay.
It happens to all of us. You know, especially when you're putting yourself out there in the dating scene, it's bound to happen.
All right.
And
Tyler?
it doesn't mean that there's anything against you. It's just not your. Maybe there's something wasn't lining up for them or for you.
That's just how the
That's
cookie
fine.
crumbles
It is what it
sometimes.
is.
Closing thoughts, Tyler.
Try to go into it with an open mindset more than anything. It's not a job. And also knowing that, you know, you're not perfect, so don't expect your partner to be. And
Yeah.
if they fall short, don't, try not to judge them, because you don't know how much impact you can have on their life. You might not even have to say anything to them, but just being in a relationship with you makes them a better person. So try not to sell anybody too short too quickly. Usually within about 6 months in a relationship, you can kind of decipher on if the person is going to make a change into what you need them to be. The person is supposed to add value to your life. So, Kamal said this to me when I had got into my relationship. She's either there to be a lesson or a blessing. So, if you look at it in that aspect, either way, you're winning, because if she's a lesson, then you're getting the experience. And if she's a blessing, then you get the experience and you get the blessing on top of being with her. And that means that you are divinely paired and you're supposed to be with one another. So with that being said, that's my closing thoughts on that, man. Just go out there and give it your best. I would say don't try to focus too much on the relationship. Try to focus on being friends first, and maybe you might end up with your best friend.
yeah, I agree.
Okay. Well, this has been a fun episode. Definitely different from all the other ones. I've really enjoyed it. A little messy because it was the longest one, so we had some technical difficulties. But in relation to what we're talking about, a lesson learned. So we're going to improve on it. It's going to get better, but that's part of it. Gives us room to improve and grow. Looking forward to it. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. This has been another episode of the EP podcast. Do not forget to like, comment, subscribe for many more episodes that are to come. If this is what you like seeing, let us know. Let us know, because we're here to entertain you. So the more we know what it is you want, the more that we could cater to it.
Hit that bell.
Again, like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you never miss out on any of the content that we put out. And, let's close it out with a cheers.
Salud.
To toxic masculinity. I mean, to Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. All right.
Go Birds.
All right. Go Birds. Go Birds. All right.
Go Birds.
EP podcast is out.